excellent first day at the Mac workshop yesterday. We had really good set of presentations. The presentations were of very high standard, and of course the discussions were also of an equally high standard. We had good participation from the Indian automobile sector as well as the mobile air conditioning sector. The day started with the inaugural session where we had the Director General of TERI, Dr. Pachari, giving his welcome address. He talked in brief about the importance of this subject of mobile air conditioning and the transport sector as a whole, and he gave his comments on the issue both with regard to the importance in terms of both climate change perspective as well as the ozone depletion issue. Apart from Pachari, I think we also had very good set of comments in the opening remarks which were given by Mr. Raj Shende as also by Mr. Philip Owen, which was through the video message. In addition, the presentation by Mr. I.V. Rao, who is the Managing Executive Officer of Maruti Suzuki and was also representing the industry body of the automobile manufacturer, which is the Society of the Indian, SIAM, it is called Society of the Indian Automobile Manufacturers. He gave a brief account of how the automobile sector has grown over the past few years and how the mobile air conditioning is playing a major part. One of the points which he mentioned, which clearly emphasizes the importance of this subject of mobile air conditioning, is that today almost 85% of the cars in India that are sold are air conditioned vehicles, which was not the case say around 8 to 10 years back. And we also had in the inaugural session Dr. Pradipta Ghosh, who is a distinguished fellow at TERI, and he gave the overall perspective of the issue from the perspective of the Government of India as well as the Indian perspective. Dr. Dureswamy, of course, he is a well-known face in the field of ozone depletion. He has been spearheading the Indian ozone cell for quite a long time, for almost 7 years, so he gave his initial comments. And then we moved on to the technical sessions. The first one was, which of course is the most important issue, is how the policy is acting as a driver for technology change. And the session was moderated by Mr. Atul Bagai from UNEP, from the UNEP Bangkok office. We had excellent presentations here covering the perspective on the legislations which are coming up in California, in USA, and the famous MAC directive on mobile air conditioning from the European Union side. And of course we had other presentations by US EPA. But one of the presentations from the Indian perspective, which is pretty important to mention here, is that we had the representative from the Bureau of Energy Efficiency also here. He talked about the plan which the Government of India has of introducing energy labeling for cars in India. As we all know, that the Energy Conservation Act in India was enacted in 2001, and as a part of this Energy Conservation Act, we have the provision of having an energy labeling and standards program, and many of the appliances in India have already, like for example, products which are related to this sector, for example domestic refrigerators and in room air conditioners, split air conditioners, have already come under the labeling program. In fact, for these two products we already have a mandatory labeling program which will rate the products based upon the energy performance of these products. The best performing product will get a 5-star, and while the other one gets lower star, 4, 3, 2. So there has been a move in India to also add other appliances. Many other appliances have already been added to this. So this presentation by the Bureau of Energy Efficiency gave the initial thoughts what the Bureau has about introducing such a labeling program for the automobile sector, and it was mentioned that it is probably going to change the face of how the consumer really buys. In any case, in India, one sees that the consumers are very cost conscious and they tend to buy the products based upon the energy efficiency. How many liters does a car give? How many kilometers does a car give for 1 liter of the fuel which it consumes? This was followed by a very detailed presentation by Mr. Dennis Klodick, who is a well-known figure in the field of mobile air conditioning. He participated through the video link, which worked pretty well, and he talked about the current status of the main existing future technology options in the MAC sector, the market trends and the various environmental characteristics for the three key technologies. The first one, of course, was R744, that is carbon dioxide as an option for replacement of 134A, and then the newly emerging alternative of HFO1234YF. And then also he talked a bit about the 152A option. So he gave the various features of these technologies, where do we stand, and this was followed by really an excellent set of questions by the various stakeholders who were present in the deliberations. Following this, we had a brief overview of the Jumpstart project by a team from UNEP, and then from TERI we presented also the results of the work which TERI had done on the MAC study. This study, very briefly, was undertaken by TERI during the period 2005 to 2007, following the initial workshop, the first workshop on MAC, which was organized in Delhi. That was also supported by UNEP and US EPA, apart from other partners. So we presented the results of that study in terms of what are the baseline consumption, and what were the views of the industry partners at that time. It was followed by a very nice roundtable discussion which was moderated by Dr. R.S. Agarwal, who is a senior advisor and coordinator with UNDP Ozone Cell at the Ministry of Environment and Forests. He has been associated with this MAC related activities and has been a member of the Technical Options Committee for a long time. But he is a very highly regarded personality in this field, and he gave his perspective on the MAC sector, and as well as moderated the discussions. The key panelists, or the key people who really made their comments, were from the MAC manufacturers. We had Subros, which is one of the largest MAC manufacturers in the country, and then we also had Mr. Partha Sethi from the Bayer India Limited, which is also one of the large MAC producers. And then from the automobile sector, we had comments from Tata Motors, as well as from the representatives of Maruti Udyog Limited. These two are one of the two largest companies in the automobile sector in India. Towards the end of the day, we had again a good presentation on the issue of recovery and recycling by Dennis. And he touched upon the importance of these issues and how one can really work towards reducing the leakages in the MAC systems, which are presently mostly working on 134A. So all in all, I can say it was a really good set of presentations and discussions during the day.